10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, long 2.5. Okay. All right, Shaka, do you see us? Did it hit you?
Yeah, it did.
All right.
Huh? Am I gonna eat what? Let's see. Let's see.
Lisa, we are live.
Are those the round ones? Yeah, we just add those.
LB,
Yes.
we live, babe.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, Ethel,
All right. All right. Whoever the host is hosting, host it.
go for it. You already talking?
Oh, great. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Soul Food Sunday here, reporting live from the trenches of the COVID-19 pandemic and quarantine. I'm your host today. I'm Stephanie. I'm here with Lisa
Shaka
Washaka.
Lisa,
And Anthony.
All right, one more time. I'm here with,
Shaka.
Lisa B.
And Anthony.
all right. Thank you, everybody, for coming through today. Um, I'm sipping on tequila Jose Cuervo, so I just wanted to make you guys aware and kind of patronize my brand. Shaka, what do you have today?
Hey, Cuervo.
Moscow Mule. Kettle One.
Hello. All right. Well,
Lemon
what you got?
Lemonade Chick-fil-A.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. How you get Chick-fil-A on a Sunday? You holding out.
Yeah, you know people that know people.
Hmm.
They
Connected.
do.
I like it. So let's reach into let's reach into this week's appetizer. So we always start off with our winners and losers of the week. I'm gonna randomly pick one of my friends today. So Anthony, who are your winners and losers?
Winners and losers. The winner today for me or this week, I give it a Diddy. Not that he did anything special, but he at least sparked the conversation that probably needs to be had. I would say, to really, kind of galvanize black people to kind of put themselves in a place where they're, making demands as opposed to just kind of going with the flow, going with what we've always kind of done, voted in the ways that we've always kind of done. Again, not that Diddy did anything special, but he making that statement is something that we probably should be doing as a group and looking at ourselves as a community that should be making demands on that on that level. As if you want our vote, then we have some demands that we need to have met first before we just kind of acquiesce to whatever the Democratic Party would like.
Mhm.
That's my winner. Losers will be as a new investor. I'm gonna have to give my loser to Elon Musk, founder and CEO of Tesla. This dummy went on Twitter and said his stock should be it was valued too high, and subsequently it failed. For like $100, man. It was crazy. And being that I have a few shares, I was pissed, just like any other investor would be. So I'm gonna have to give him the asshole move of the week. You know what I mean? Yeah, total just like, dude, just be quiet. He did it for me this week. So he gets the loser category. What about you guys?
Lisa.
Lisa.
Well, who are the winners? Um, we are. You know, we're still doing it. We're surviving. We're trying to be well. We're trying to, maintain our own livelihood and still try to work within the constraints of a quarantine. And so we're out here loving our families, blessing our friends, and still meeting new people, and all those positive things that are happening socially. People are sharing their art. People are, getting their hustle on, finding new ways and new ways to transform their work into these platforms. So I'll say, we are the winners, and we are still the losers, right? So when I say we, I'm talking about us in that we still don't have an actual proposal to target us during this pandemic. And the thing about it is, it's not really just Black people, it's Black people and Latinx, the Latinx community. We're very close. And Native Americans, we're all really high up there in terms of death. So when we talk about Black people having poor indicators and stuff, that's one thing, but it's a lot of us who do. The problem is that, we're not really addressing it. And telling us to just stop being fat and, stop drinking, like that's not how you address an emergency situation. So.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to piggyback off what Lisa said. I agree with the winners, that we're winners in that this whole system is being disrupted, and this whole system from inception was never for us. It was never for our survival. So that's the good part in that, we're winning because a revolution is at the foot. I don't know what form it's going to take, but now more than ever, I think our ancestors have always wanted this shit to be just blown the fuck up. So to that end, we're winning, and like she said as well, we're losing because we're overrepresented in the deaths, in the totality of just the disease, the virus itself, and all the the ramifications that come after that, joblessness, whatever. But that's not my losers of the week. I'll still go with that as winners. My losers of the week are the white boys out there with the guns protesting, opening up their states. They're losing in that. I mean, they're losing that in that. It's false bravado. They're pawns. They're not kings. They're not makers. They're not doing anything but just showing that they're being asses. Half of them, most of them, probably would not even take arms, shoot those guns if it really came down to some real shit. But so they're the losers of the week because they're fighting for a cause. They're probably spreading the virus among themselves anyway. So and they fight against a revolution, a worldwide revolution that recognizes white supremacy and its remnants and what supports it. So yeah, they're my losers for the week.
Okay. Did I get your winner, Lisa?
She said us.
Winner?
Oh, us. Okay.
Us.
For me this week, I would say my loser would be the Whitman Mayo Clinic. I'm severely disappointed that they would let that dotard come onto their places with the respectability and the 5-star, everything that we know about Whitman Mayo way back when they were on the front lines of the AIDS epidemic. And it is disgusting to me that they would let that MF walk in there maskless when most likely be exposed. Why would they cave? That to me, so you don't have any type of balls at all.
Oh, the vice president?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You talking about Pence when he went in there?
Yes. I was very disappointed at the Whitman Walker Clinic at allowing him to come in when across the country and especially in their state, you can't walk into certain places without a mask on. So he's coming in there, and it's fine that he doesn't prefer to wear one, but at the same time, we don't know what he's been exposed to. He's dirty ass House of Representatives, okay? That's just not sterile, it's not clean. And he's coming out, he wants to just prove a point to his base. But at the same time, Whitman Walker should have been like, no, you can't come in here with that, fam. We're not on that.
Putting people at risk.
I think that's more of an indictment on him than them, though, for real.
I mean, it is, but where do we stand as a people if these hospitals and scientists and people, if you guys can't enforce even the basic shit on your own property, dog, who the fuck is really fight for us if some real shit, some more real shit is going down like this?
But he's not really just me coming in there without a mask. It's the vice president of the United States, and so he shouldn't be given a pass. But
isn't he the chairman of the fucking COVID task force? Come on, their messaging is all over the place. Like either you want us to put a mask on, or you're going to stand out here and be a loser with your mask off and now how many other people are going to do that? Look at the people that were drinking bleach this week. Bam.
Them your people. I don't know them.
People are injecting Clorox into the. I used to work at the.
Let them do their thing, man. Don't stop them.
Yeah, I'm not. Please keep killing yourself if you're going to do that. I don't have anything to do if you like to drink Clorox. But what I'm saying is for him to get that visual that it's okay to go without a mask and you're walking into a hospital where people are already compromised. He doesn't care. They don't care. I'm sorry. Okay, and my winner this week, it wouldn't be any of them. My winners this week, I am very proud of the small businesses who were able to buckle down and complete the application for round 2. I'm glad that people are discouraged. I've talked to a number of people this week and was able to help them with their PPP loan applications and giving them advice and helping with their finances. I applaud the small businesses, especially in the DMV area. Don't give up. Please keep going. We're going to be the ones that save everybody. So just like Generation X, you got a job to do. So don't give up just because the application is hard. There are resources that are free that we can help. So I'm glad to say that I see us rallying back a little bit from the initial shock of it all.
There's a silver lining.
Yeah. If it's even silver, I mean we're nowhere near silver, but bronze is pretty good right now. I'll take it.
All right, no doubt.
All right. So let's get into our COVID discussion because really everything that we experience is tied into this new paradigm. So unemployment and joblessness is at an all-time record high. I can't even imagine what it really is like if the numbers are what they're reporting. I can't what it really is. It's very sad to think about the people who had problems with the application process. I know Maryland has been doing a very shoddy job at having something decent in place that people can use without problems. The new system went up this week and it was a failure. It was a failure. So what are some of the things that you guys are seeing around the Beltway with regards to this? Is anybody getting it right?
I mean, it was some people who probably didn't deserve to have the money, and they got the money, which we all knew when the application process bottlenecked. We all knew that there was a reason why. So A, it's inefficiency, meaning the directives weren't as clear for many of the banks in terms of how the process goes back. So they knew how to get the applications, out and completed, but then that part, the approval process, that's just my understanding, third-party understanding of the initial bottleneck. But what we've learned over time was that you have the Lakers who are paying their stadium staff out of this. You have Shake Shack, which is a local business, as well as probably some of these smaller businesses who really can't afford to pay. I mean, they can afford to, they have to afford to, but it's a bigger stress on them to be able to afford to pay for unemployment for their staff. Whereas the Lakers and those larger organizations, they're funded, with multi-million-dollar benefactors and seed money, and you see how far that is, up. So they, of all people, can afford to pay unemployment for at least a certain period of time. And so the impacts are that you saw a lot of those people give the money back. My bad. Harvard, I don't remember what Harvard decided to do. I think they decided to give the money back as well. But Harvard got money. So all those places got money, but then not everybody did. And so you see, to your point, Stephanie, is that if I have a business that's already a well-oiled machine, as soon as I knew this money was coming, I sent it to my accountant. And I used to run an organization. We had an accountant. I could just send that over. Boom. They're going to handle that paperwork, My assistant is going to, manage the process or whatever little piece. Get this to that. Do you know where these documents are? And then it's boom. But if I have to go through shoe boxes, and not saying that that's every small business, that isn't. But if I have to even go through my file cabinet, and maybe I'm a one-person show, so I got to pull all these documents together. Well, by the time I get them in, that money was gone, child.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. These are the people who I've actually talked to this week. That's like, I'm a solopreneur, girl. I'm doing this. I'm juggling this, and them financials ain't right.
I mean, but it was about the banks, though. It was about the banks and industries, like that whole, like, just like the tax cuts. Like, so the banks were doing up the money. So it was a government check to the banks, and the banks going up with who they had relationships with. They had relationships with the oil and the gas industry, sports and entertainment, all the big business, and that's who got the money. And only only the customer-facing ones are going to give it back because they're going to face pressure, like the Lakers, Roof Chris, Shake Shack. But there's a ton of other businesses that we don't know where they tentacles float. It could be.
I heard McDonald's was one.
I'm sure McDonald's was one, but they covered in so many different companies. It's not going to trace back to them, to the source. So,
well, the other part of that was they said that banks actually chose. So even a step further than what you're saying, which is, I'm saying, well, people were prepared. They put their hat in the ring first. You said, they're going to look and work with the people who they're familiar with. And then we find out that they actually chose higher level entities to process first because there's some type of fee that banks allegedly get. Now, I don't know how true that is. I haven't gone deep into that part. But they're saying that they actually pick and chose applications. So it wasn't really just first come, first serve.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It was a little bit more than that. And I don't doubt it.
It's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like with any kind of government, stimulus, quantitative easing, whatever. To me, like kind of what Shaq was saying, it's kind of like a, bank get first dibs, and then everything kind of trickles down from there, and it's like skimming off the top. I mean, they're just giving out monies to those who don't need it. Just like we know how our government is, kind of built to be, is more like a corporate socialism, times 10, 12, and anytime there's an opportunity, which pandemics, emergencies, 9/11, all kind of money was just thrown out there, and we're talking about it in the span of, in this particular incident, a few months. You're talking about $24 trillion. Well, it's just a dumb amount of money.
And how many people got it? How many black businesses got it? Those stats are out.
That's the thing, though. They're not even meant to get it. You know what I'm saying? This is like a money grab. I mean,
the application process is the weeding out. That's it. Like
right.
So the application process is a formality for a lot of people. Like for a certain amount, you're just going through it. Just go through it so we can say we did it. Like, we gave you niggas a chance. You ain't do it quick enough. I know niggas ain't fast.
So to me, man, this is like if you see a boat, sinking or something, everybody going for themselves. The rats, they're just going out to get what they can, when they can, while they can. And then, everybody else is just kind of left to kind of figure out which to me also offers a kind of silver lining in the sense that what we were speaking, I think somebody had winners and losers, that we're the winners in the sense of our ingenuity and our innovativeness, you know what I mean? So just as much as going bad and the American ship is sinking, and it's been for years, and those people that's gonna, grab what they can while they can, they're gonna do that. But I think the silver lining is, we've been born to do more with less, in a sense, and we're just kind of put in a situation where we're going to have to do the same thing again. And like Stephanie said, we're going to save everybody at the end of the day, eventually. You know what I'm saying? They'll come around once they see the ingenuity, the innovativeness, and we're going to create. I have no doubt we're going to create something. Hopefully, we get to take advantage of it, first before it's kind of co-opted or tried somebody
before it's colonized. Is that what you?
before it gets colonized. You know what I'm saying? So it's the rats doing what rats do, and we just kind of gotta really look at ourselves at the end of the day.
Ashe.
Okay, so external of the employment and small business angle on the front lines in terms of mortality. Are we seeing any new trends? Have you been surprised by anything that's been reported lately? Is everybody in the DMV getting tested equally? Like, I'm trying to find a way to really understand the numbers, and it's been a stretch for me. So, what do you have?
The numbers aren't really there.
Okay, that's why.
Right.
What for?
Ward 6 through 8 have a support system.
Are we talking about numbers that are of people dying of food?
Yeah, I mean, so there's the question of the actual mortality rate plus who's confirmed. What about all these people that present asymptomatically and then they're still saying that they are testing positive? I don't know what am I supposed to be looking at for credibility?
Right.
Well, so what I was going to say is that one of the things that would be helpful is if we could look at the data and see of all of the Black people who died, how many had pre-existing conditions and what were those conditions. You're not going to find that. You'll just hear the narrative that we are predisposed. And so there's a correlation being drawn between the fact that we are overrepresented with some health indicators, poor health indicators around diabetes, obesity, and some and high blood pressure. And so that is true, but that's a separate step. And then over here you have, and that's why you all are dying. But then what we don't have is the data that says, hey, because at some point, part of the problem is we don't have any initiatives. There are no targeted approaches to how this population, i.e. us, right, who are supposed to be so much more at risk. Why, telling people to go work out, that's great, but even the impacts of that are going to be, a little longer down the line. So what are they offering up now by way of support systems? And you don't see anything. You just hear the message that we've got to do better and we've got to eat better, which are all great. But, to me, it's an empty message if it doesn't have policy and strategies attached. And so for me, we don't even have the data that tells us for sure what this looks like, because we know on one half it's how we may be predisposed, but then on another part of it, we know that the care is different. And so if we're going to be serious about what this means for Black people, then we have to look deeply into that, because right now we're wearing the face of a disease, and you have these other people who got their guns and rifles and stuff out trying to, intimidate somebody because they're under the impression that it ain't them. We're not dying, y'all sick. Y'all gonna, so we shouldn't honor the rules.
I saw somebody refer to them as the Family Dollar version of the Stormtroopers from Star Wars.
Dollar Virgin.
The Family Dollar. Shaka, what do you think?
I largely agree with what Lisa said in that, but I think it deserves deeper analysis in why we're overrepresented, why the numbers are what they are. Is it preconditions, or is it more so that we're more predisposed to being in those frontline positions, those working those jobs where we're cashiers, or we're working, those minimum wage jobs, the jobs that we act as though they're not essential, but have now been deemed essential. So it's a lot of issues, but we all know that our health, when white America has the flu, we got pneumonia. I mean, that's been the case. So we've been the the canary in the coal mine for a long time. So that's a given. So you gotta bake that into the equation. But you also gotta look at why, you know, what is it, because our health is that, because it's a lot of them that's not unhealthy. They're not the healthy. I mean, so they are just as susceptible to buying into this commercialized fast food culture as we are. Is it the fact that we're low on the economic social scale, which I think that's probably has much more to do with anything. I mean, you know, is it because we don't have equal health care? So there's a lot of issues that come to surface when we speak to the inequities of or the disparity, who has it, who's dying from it, who's not. Overall, it deserves deeper analysis. Something that I don't know that our government, even before Donald Trump, really cares to really explore. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean,
Anthony?
I mean, like Lisa and Shaka are saying, you know, we kind of the face of it, but you know, this country overall is a you know, just health wise, you know, I mean, we're just, you know, most of these countries in the world, you know what I mean? And when we have, you know, the way we eat and how our food is treated, overall, you're talking about immune health, you know what I mean? And that to me is something that, you know, I don't know if they're speaking on, and it makes us all susceptible, you know, because overall Americans' health is, you know, could and seems like it's pointing to like it is kind of the factor that's not necessarily being really taken into consideration, like overall health in this country. What are our immune systems like to you know, not just saying COVID, you know, the virus isn't something that built to, to attack our system and cause the things that it's causing. What part of our immune system that's not of health? You know what I'm saying? It's like an entire nation, you know, the immune system is compromised, and then you just drop something that, you know, like dropping a flame in a bunch of masses. You have a you know, you have a you have a fire that, you know, kind of consumes the population and this virus. So I mean, I think to say, you know, like Lisa was saying, like, you know, eat better, stop smoking, stop doing shit, that's not gonna help us today, you know.
Right.
That's not gonna help us right now, bro.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Thank you. You know what I mean? So it's to me like, you know, yeah, that's an issue, but you know, to me, I think that speaks to something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just on the fringe in the way I think about some of this, and that, you know, maybe, you know, they want dead black bodies out there. You know what I'm saying? And this is an avenue for that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of sinister. I mean, look at human trafficking, what do you call it? Organ harvesting. This is real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that that's why this is happening, or, you know, this is put in place to happen. But where do criminals go? They go where the opportunities lie. You know what I'm saying? And those are crimes. Those are global crimes that happen around the world, and in situations like this. So when you have, you know, hospital organizations where they're misdiagnosing, you know, all these cases, real COVID-19 cases, you know, are all hospitals getting, you know, money for, you know, more COVID cases that they have? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. You know what I mean? These are things that happen, and part of, and should be part of the conversation, and not just kind of brushed off as, you know, kind of fringe thinking or conspiracy thinking and stuff like that. Because criminals are gonna, and these are not, and when you talk about human trafficking and stuff like that, those are crimes that are very well organized, you know, very well resourced, and they have people on the inside. They have doctors and administrators, shit like that on the inside, signing on shit. So that part I don't think you speak of, because that's the worst of the worst. You know what I mean? Those are the worst case scenarios.
Let me ask you guys' opinion about the impact that it's having in terms of the public school systems in all our United States. I know in our area there are a lot of. I think DC and Maryland have not officially, like called off the end of the year yet. I don't know if I'm wrong with that, but I don't think that they have officially called it off. But I've been thinking more about what are going to be some of the short and long term implications of this to the students that are in these school districts that have been playing, oh, we're gonna open up on April 27th. Oh no, we're coming back on April the 19th or whatever. What do you think about
They'll have to adapt. I mean, it's unfortunate, but they'll adapt. We've adapted. Everyone will. They'll be fine. Next year, when it's time to go back, either they'll be going back initially under this platform, this remote learning platform, or they'll be going back into the classrooms altogether. I think whatever happens at the end of this year, chalk it up. Like, if 9/11 had happened, across most of these states, on that day, like, we wouldn't be expecting them to have to come back and figure it out. So I think that we shouldn't have that expectation. What y'all over there doing? I'm just
Nothing.
But I think that they'll be fine. The seniors definitely got the short end of the stick, like by all means, but they'll adapt too. They'll be fine.
I think moreover is there's a paradigm shift. Like what we should be doing, what we should be actually thinking is, how can we make this because distance learning is now going to be that's going to be the future. Like even the one, because it's going even after they open everything up, there's going to be those skeptical of going back to
Absolutely.
those environments. So there's a lane. I mean, I hate the charter school movement. I hate it because from its inception, it was to basically negate all the gains of Brown versus Board of education. That was the inception, to really siphon public money, school funds from the public schools that educate us and make education equal. But with that said, I mean, there's an opportunity to us get in there to get in there, actually create a foundation, create a system of distant learning, because that's gonna be the wave. I mean, there's no way to get around that shit.
Right.
Like if you're not thinking distant learning, you're not really in tune to where education is going. So whether they open that shit up or not, that's kind of a vehicle that we as a people collectively should explore.
And just to pick it back on what we finish up.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Now, just to pick up back on what you're saying, I think just the bigger picture is really, if you look at our path in this country, as the civil rights movement and integration kind of took its place in changing things where our community was integrated in the larger community. I don't know. For some reason, I look at this like this could be our corrective measure, because a lot of people argue that integration might have really siphoned off from what we could have done for ourselves if given the opportunity, and we were just kind of sold on that. Got to integrate, must integrate is the best thing for us, or whatever the case may be. I think maybe part of this is a corrective measure of really, going back into our communities and creating our own education systems for us, by us, and for lack of a better way of saying it. And,
No.
And that kind of goes on from education to healthcare, every aspect of what society needs, what we need, really run ourselves. They can be a part of it if they want to, but I think we need to. It's an opportunity for right. Nah, not really, but it's an opportunity for us to really kind of create what we need, and education is a big part of that. So,
I agree with you 100%. And what you're saying is like, because integration was like, it was about separate but equal was not unequal. And
correct.
It's not.
Right.
So now we get the best of both worlds, because now we got to the extent that we can exercise this shit. We got a level playing field in which we can partake in industry and taking advantage of these loopholes, these corporate loopholes.
Correct.
All we gotta do is incorporate, and that's. I mean, so I think so. I just want to co-sign what you just said is that it's like I hate the argument when people say integration ruined black people or ruin out, because that wasn't it. It wasn't integration. It was the fact that once integration happened, they took control of legislatively and they made laws and kept double down laws, and we didn't follow suit. So,
that's exactly right, and that's why, or one step further is that's why I get like annoyed when people start having these conversations, not even on, I mean, because they always paint us like we were just so stupid the whole time, and we weren't. We were actually making gains. The focus at the time was different than what it is now. And yeah, we may have dropped the ball in some capacity, because you know how they say you think the white man's ice is colder or water, tastes better, that little idea that you feel like you've arrived once you've been ingratiated and accepted and into the mainstream, and it did dilute us, but we've come so far for so long that you think we just gave that up willingly. We didn't. It was a fight, and we did go down swinging. We lost because they controlled the system, and we were part of that system. And I think that the new normal is coming back around now. I think it's coming back around, as you say, how businesses and schools are structured. Also, the way we deal with politics, that's changing. I mean, it's got to change. And, this has been my thing from the time forever, is that our role has to change. And we can't, and to your earlier point about Diddy, and Diddy was like, oh, yeah, I'm like, you came in the fourth quarter, with 3 minutes left on the clock with your, basketball shoes on. Like, have a seat. You know what I mean? Like, this shit should have been, and better late than never. I'm not mad at that, but don't come in now. You know what I mean?
I agree, because I like this shit. Like, where were you during the primaries? Like, before we got to Biden? Like that would have been much more valuable if you just said that shit back when they were pushing Biden as the only person that could be Trump.
Kim Porter, I'm sorry, Shaka, he was mourning.
I mean.
No, this was after that. He was around.
I'm just saying. I'm not mad at him for saying, because it's true. I mean, it really is, because even with all that shit, Biden still had to say, what the fuck are you gonna do for us? Because we're gonna make your legacy.
Right.
Like we made Obama's legacy. It was us. We did that shit. And you asking the same people, like, you're less worthy of that nigga. Way less worthy. So what is it like? We understand what Trump is. Trump is an existential threat to the United States of America. We understand that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't use that shit you can't. It's like they're using that shit. They're using that shit to say, look, I think this old crusty ass white man. He's probably a rapist. We know he's creepy. He might be a rapist. He might not be a rapist. I mean, I don't know who was there, but he's creepy. His politics have been anti-black from inception to him becoming the vice president, to the first black president.
Right.
So I get what he's saying. Like, what else are you offering other than Donald Trump is a devil and he's gonna kill all niggas?
Right.
He is. I mean, he
have
really
a black agenda, and he's had a black agenda. But my thing with that is, we sat here the whole damn time waiting on, where's your black agenda? No, we were supposed to bring our agenda to them and say, speak to this. What have you done? If you running now, what have you done while you've been a senator? What have you done as governor? Like, we were supposed to be running this shit back, and it's tiring trying to get people to pay attention. But that's okay, because times change, and when times change, the people's behavior has to change. And I think this is our new normal. All this stuff is our new normal. And if we let this country go back to what it has been since we've been alive, then we deserve it. Sorry,
we
deserve it.
there. We on third base. They on third base. I mean, almost there, yo. Like we really are. We passed where Reagan had us. I mean, yeah. Seriously. Like we look at
impossible.
And we take ourselves out of it, because we came from. Back then, we were the true niggas of the world. Like, we're not. We second, third generation out of poverty. Like, we ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's other people, it's a lot of people below us where we are that experiencing hell. So I think a lot of us sometimes miss the fact that we ain't like we closer to white people than a lot of our brothers and sisters are. Like
Yeah.
they really are like they really are experiencing fucking hell, especially right now. Like especially right now, it's babies in fucking cages right now. Like it's crazy. That's nuts. Like
Nobody's even talking about that.
this is not.
That's not
So
even on
yeah,
the show right now.
They're
I
like,
mean, so it's niggas in jail for just we getting shot down like rabid dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
like
not.
play.
So I mean we so in the midst of all this shit, I still count my blessings.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's, with as ugly as it is out there, I think, I guess maybe that's the optimism in me. You know what I mean? I still see everything that, that everybody, is saying, that there's something, with everything that's going on, there's a lot of positivity out there. There's, potential for where we could go. And to say, I guess the comment on what Lisa was saying, what if we allow America to go back to what it was? And I think personally, I think we got to get out of that mindset. We need to, concentrate on us, what I'm saying, in our community. Not to, in a way, not to be trying to carry the country in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Because it usually goes where we take it anyway. You know what I'm saying? It goes where our ingenuity, our innovation goes. And we carry the morality of the nation in a sense, you know what I mean? So if we do that, the country will follow with kicking and screaming, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But still, if, I'm sure it's going to probably get worse before it gets better. But I think if we collectively, really take care of ourselves and really show the way, you know what I'm saying, and not necessarily the country, because the shit may change. Like you said, it may never be like it was what we know it to be again. You know what I'm saying? So we as the innovators, we as the creators of all things, saying that we just if we concentrate on those things, and the country gonna be what it is. But I think we have a responsibility to create and carry ourselves and let everybody else just follow.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we have more a leadership role. I think we need to step up and lead by example and by thought, and it's like empathy, like white men, white people culturally are not imbued with empathy. They're not taught to think of others as being equal. So a lot of times they even the ones with the best that think they had the best intentions,
Right.
they don't have because they're culturally taught not to devalue indigenous people. And as black people being like in this at least in this country, we've been the most oppressed indigenous population of all. We should be leading, and a lot of times I see a lot of like leaders, like natural born leaders, not leading. They're misled by just like erroneous thoughts of just tribalism, and that it's just black. If it ain't black, it ain't right. Like in that we ain't the only oppressed people. We might be the most oppressed, but we're not the only oppressed. Right. A lot of times we get caught up in thinking that all right, we the only like if it ain't black, if it ain't a black agenda, it ain't like what helps black people in America helps all Americans. Like it's no fucking program that you can implement in this country or in this nation or in the body politics of America that helps black people that won't help every fucking body. Absolutely. So we get caught up in like that's one of the most my frustrations with the whole Bernie Sanders not having a black agenda. Like, no, dumbass. If his programs were implemented, not only will black people be helped, all people be helped. So so what you're saying is you mad that other people can be fucking helped by programs to help our people.
Keeping your fellow man.
And that's tribalism, and that's white supremacy. White supremacy is built on just a tribal mentality. We think that it's just me, fucking white male. If it ain't white male heterosexual, half of them fucking gay anyway. If it ain't that on the surface, it ain't nothing. It's to be devalued, and we got to come from that place where I see a lot of black men that if they was fucking born white, I swear to God, they'd be MAGAs. and they whack. It's like you gotta call them out for that shit. Like we gotta move away from that shit. We gotta understand what white supremacy is. White supremacy is that It's tribalism. It's narcissism. It's that thought that if it's me, if it ain't like me, it ain't good. Whereas
But okay, but here's the thing. So if we say the policies help and they help everybody, how we still don't end up being helped though? Like, and I think that's where some of the distrust comes from, because we got the small business, even though it's not supposed to help most black businesses, like all black businesses, but I'm saying that it would, that, like, I think they said the likelihood of being excluded was like 97% for black people, 91% for Hispanic and Latino population, and then, like, as it goes down. But my point,
implemented, like if those policies were ever, they're not implemented. They compromised on. I mean, but who are the people that make those compromises? They're like, it's like with affirmative action. Like affirmative action was a great plan in thought, an idea, but who benefited most? White women. So how can the mother of the majority be a fucking minority? That's what the fuck it is. You have the mother, like, so they have their wives, their daughters, their nieces get contracts for them because they're a minority technically in the writing, but it's a shell game. It ain't real. So you can't. I mean, like, you can't indict the policy idea based on how who made a compromise. Who made a compromise? And 9 times out of 10, it's people like Joe Biden. I mean, I'm gonna vote, and I'm gonna vote for Joe Biden. I'm not. So don't get me wrong. I'm gonna vote for him. I live in a purple state, and he, but if I didn't live in a purple state, I wouldn't vote for him because he was like my vote. He's a piece of shit. But but Donald Trump is an existential threat to black survival, because he is, like, even if he is not in his heart of hearts a white supremacist, he's in support by white supremacists. So he's making compromise with just extreme white supremacists that want to eradicate our people. So
he told them people that they were just angry. They were good people who were just angry, but they called us the bitches. I mean, he if this ain't obvious,
he's very dangerous. He's very dangerous. And they're just waiting for the word. I mean, not necessarily from him, but from maybe people on him. They waiting for the word, and it could be carnage because they're armed and dangerous. And I don't think we as a people are equipped. I mean, we're not there yet.
I think we're not organized. We're not organized.
That's not organized.
Yeah.
But there are lots of black gun groups and black survival groups, I mean, that are organized. And I mean, I think the problem with us is the problem that they all have. Because if you notice, that Reopen Michigan group, they've splintered, you know what I mean? Because the person didn't agree with somebody else. So they, so that kind of stuff happens to everybody. It's not just us. And I will say that I think we talked about the HQL, and I took my daughter to the class because I wanted her to already, have that paperwork done. And the class was like 99% black. So we was up there. Now, we might have been late because this was in March, and all the guns was gone in like in February, But at least, people understand that, and you don't need an HQL for a shotgun, by the way. So.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of heavy information, but we definitely want you, our audience, to be more informed about your rights and your abilities. So state by state, check out what it takes to even purchase a firearm. If you don't have one, if you don't have access to these things, just at least do the research and read up on what it's like, just because you might not know. I didn't know, and I plan to do a lot more research about it because I think it would be irresponsible not to. That's just me being judgmental. So we're going to move into the timeline today. So some of the things that I saw on my timeline were kind of interesting, but let's see what's happening on Shaka's timeline this week.
And you would pick me. I don't know. I'm looking through that now to find what's on there.
What about the draft?
Say what?
What about the draft?
I mean, the draft. Well, I'm a Giant fan, so
yes, this is sports.
We draft the need. So I can't say too much. I mean, the proof will be in the pudding in years to come. Like Is our left or right tackle gonna hold up? Is he a solid left tackle? But we'll see. I ain't mad at him though.
I didn't even watch
Did anybody catch the documentary about Smith from the Redskins with his leg? Did anybody look at his strudel?
Who? I thought you were going to talk about Michael
Alex
Jordan's
Smith.
documentary.
Alex, is that his name? Alex Smith?
Oh, his leg?
Did
Oh,
you-
yeah, that was terrible.
Is-
But you mentioned documentaries. What about the MJ documentary? Y'all been watching that?
last
I'm in there with that, Mr. Sportsman. So take it away. I know that was on your timeline.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by it. It's funny the revisionary history of how they, just like I see people.
Revisionist. So what did they whitewash?
People remember the '80s for like Michael Jordan. Hold on, don't get me wrong. Michael Jordan was in his day. He was the cream of the crop. Like nobody could touch him.
Right.
But I think people underestimate how basketball evolved, how athleticism evolved. Like a lot of like Michael Jordan again. I ain't call him the GOAT because that's subjective. But he's obviously the best of his time. So, but what made him a major part of what made him better than his peers was the fact his athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
But it's dudes today that are even more athletic than him. I mean, they're not better than him necessarily, but they don't have the edge. Like LeBron, the difference between LeBron and Mike was so much better than his peers. Whereas LeBron, even though LeBron is still like for the last fucking 17 years, how long has he been there? He's been the best player in the league in my eyes. The next best player has always been not that far. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's always been arguments like over the years, Derrick Rose,
Right.
Stephen Curry, Durant, Giannis. I mean, it's always been players that they'll make an argument. I mean, it's still in my eyes, no, Bron better, and he's proven he's better. But in that day, like in Mike Day, it was nobody. Like Dominique, no. Bird, no. Magic, like nobody. There was no argument. Clyde, no. And so Mike had that. He was better than all of them. But as far as athleticism, I mean, LeBron's making a case. I mean, he might not go 6'6", but I mean, his body of work. I mean, when you put up like the fact that he's been like going on 20 years of just being the best player in the league, I mean, there's no way you could be like, nah, that's. I mean, he has an argument. I ain't saying he is the GOAT. I'm not gonna make an argument, but he got a legitimate argument.
He got a legitimate argument, and the fact that he's gone to what 9 finals? Like, was it 3 teams?
Yeah.
That's
straight finals. I mean, he was going straight finals. It wasn't like every year. Like book that nigga, book him in there, book him in the finals. Well, but no matter what city it is, he's gonna be in the finals.
Going to the finals. I don't think anybody's ever done that. You know what I'm saying? Now he didn't win. You know, now just imagine if he'd won it, it would have been a closed case.
Mm-hmm.
But just the fact of getting to the finals, it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it with a brand new team every other year. You know what I mean? So that has to be, and to me, LeBron is, to me, I don't look at Mike as the GOAT. I think he's the best scorer we've ever seen, but to me, either Magic Johnson, between Magic, Kareem, and Mike, I guess, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm gonna say Mike better than Magic. I had an argument growing like Mike, like Magic was a beast. I think what LeBron is he's like a merge between Magic and LeBron. I mean, he's both of them dudes.
Correct. And to me, it's like, when did I say Magic? Because the dude came out of college, winning a championship in the NCAA.
No, he was special.
He came in the league rookie year to the finals. Kareem got hurt. This dude almost had a triple-double his rookie year and won a championship. And won 5, total in his career. He didn't have the athleticism, but to me, to say he's like LeBron is like he made the people around him 10 times better.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I never saw that in Mike.
No.
To me, that's an overall basketball player to me. When you talk about the
do you think? I'm sorry. Do you think Kobe and MJ align at all in their style in terms of their team leadership?
I mean, Kobe, no, go ahead.
Team leadership, yeah. They had very
yeah.
Hey, what?
Kobe wanted to be Mike, so he mimicked everything, even the good and bad traits of Mike. Because Mike didn't have like unlike LeBron, like where like Mike ain't really make Pippen better. It was the Bulls organization. Bulls like Jerry Cross. If you watch that documentary, Jerry Cross had a vision of what he needed as a running mate for Mike. Let me not take discredit Mike for making Pippen better because he did, but that whole point forward position was created in Bulls front office. They was like, look, we need somebody that's tall, like he can handle the ball, he can play defense. I mean, they got the perfect person in Pippen, and they molded him into that Hall of Famer he is. Because other than that, like he wouldn't have been who he was. But I'll let you go ahead, Anthony.
Nah, I agree with you because they got Pippen in that position to do everything that Mike wasn't gonna do.
Like he don't know he do. All he need to do is let him score. Let this niggas dunk on if you want to score.
Not saying that Mike didn't play defense because he did. He wasn't big. He wasn't one of the most assists in of all time, but he was an all-time defender, all-time scorer. I mean, but Pippen did the things that LeBron does. You know what I'm saying? And he allows his teammates to get involved. He just makes the game a little more fluid for Mike. And I don't know if you can be the GOAT in my eyes and not really encompass
everything. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he's not really the GOAT in my eyes, but he's a recognized. He's the one like he's the nigga not worth getting an argument saying he's not the GOAT. Like because like that's another thing. That's what I meant by the whole revisionist. Like people look at everything aspect of that. They discredit everybody. Like they'll discredit Isaiah Thomas, everybody else because just to uphold Michael Jordan as the GOAT.
To me, it's all marketing, bro. To me, when they found out, when they even when, like you said, revisionist history, they totally just exclude the bad boys years. The bad boys ran the 80s.
Ran
the 80s. Go ahead, Liz.
Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit. Yeah. And it's totally kind of just pushed out of basketball history, man.
Like not shaking hands, like walking off the court, not shaking hands, the worst thing in the world. Like nigga, I don't gotta shake your hand. Like you won, go celebrate it. Like why you need me to validate you? Like you already beat me. Fuck you. You got it. Like so they totally dismissed that as a normal disposition as anybody. Like when people have done that year before, like it wasn't unprecedented, but it's an issue. Like why you mad about that shit? You still talking about that shit, nigga?
And they don't bring up the fact that Mike Dog, I guess he did an interview prior to the end of those finals talking about how bad for basketball the Detroit Pistons were. You know what I'm saying? And that's was part of the reason why Bill Laimbeer, via and Isaiah decided that they were going, because in reaction to that, they dogged the city, the people and the players weren't good for basketball. And stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they did that in response, not as because they lost. You know what I mean? And I saw a lot of Isaiah Thomas interviews, after this thing, and he kind of he was just making the valid points of why things were done the way they were. And he's like, yo, we just did it because hey, they won. Hey, props.
Yeah, like
get out of here. But and it's like Mike still calling him an asshole today.
Yeah, like that's what you saying that now. Hold on, you said that now. like I understand you saying it then, but you still talking about it now. Like
now he's like he was like, yo, you can show me anything you want to show me right now. He's still an asshole. I was like, God, Mike.
Hey, you remember his Hall of Fame speech?
Nah, no, what is that?
Y'all gotta look at his Hall of Fame speech, man. I mean, I tell you who he is, like when he just like petty. Like you still mad about this shit? You mad about niggas? Mad about somebody starting in front of you in 7th grade? Like you mad at old shit? Like man, get over that shit, man. Like you Mike, you fucking Mike. If I'm Mike, I'm gonna look. So what? I just shit on myself. So what?
Right.
Which, as we head into our cocktail section of our show, I would like to know your opinion on delayed reactions. Specifically, one Katie Couric, who suddenly laments her one of her early interviews with one Denzel Washington. What do you say, fine people? Where my Soul Food Sunday family at? Y'all want to talk about the white tears, or we just going to talk about just
Karen being Karen?
Just Karening.
Karen.
Okay, let's take it away. Lisa, what you think? Girl.
I just think that this is typical. If you know Denzel, you know he's not for the shit. So, yeah, he's been in, like, when they said, oh, Halle Berry, you know, when she got her Oscar or whatever it was, and he was just indifferent because I think he got one at the same time or something like that, and you know, she was crying and weeping and everything, and he was just like, I mean, you know, like, I'm doing this thing, but I ain't doing it like y'all doing this thing. And that was like always his thing. So this is typical for, you know, of us, which is, it goes back down to everything, the double standard that exists for black people. We just protest. People say, don't do it that way. You know, that's the wrong way to do it. And then they protest using the same things we did. Don't block traffic. They blocking traffic. You know, they bringing guns and they doing all this shit. And then, you know, when we're firm, you know, if we ain't diving and shit, like, you know, people not doing that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? To make you feel uncomfortable. And, you know.
What happened for those of our audience who don't know exactly what happened? How did he collect Miss Couric?
Oh, he sufficiently gathered her. So the bottom line is that he asked her. I mean, she was asking him some interview questions, and one of the questions was really what she was really trying to get at was, should people in Hollywood get involved in politics and social movements? That was like at the crux of the question. And so she kept trying to get close to him about, like, so do you think that actors, or do you think that Hollywood types, or you as a Hollywood type, do you believe? And he just was just like blocking that shit you know, and but he was still cool and cordial, but because
he said, I'm a human and I'm
this is work for me. This is not who I am. I don't buy into that. And so he was very firm with his approach. But, you know, if you don't get to get what you want out of people, you get mad and cry rape. So that's basically what she did.
Guys, what do y'all think?
Hey, man.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's real sure. If you want to get cursed out by somebody, keep fucking with Denzel, man. That dude, he's a real dude. If you listen to some of his interviews that ain't like, you know, PC and stuff, oh, he go, yo, that dude is where he's from, Brooklyn or something like that, man. He's on the way around. He's a hood dude, man. And he lets it out. And I think that was an example of him trying to give her an opportunity to leave him alone. And she didn't, and he gave it to her. Yeah.
But now we want to talk about feelings 20 years later.
I thought it was clickbait. Like, what? It wasn't like he didn't do nothing. He didn't say nothing crazy. Like, why you didn't mention it now? Like who are you anyway? Like, who's Katie Couric? Like, where do you work at? Like, I don't like on Twitter. Like, I don't know. Yeah, so.
And it wasn't just an interview with him. It was an interview with several people.
There were 2 other cats up there with him.
Yeah.
Project. Okay. So it wasn't just him one-on-one with her.
No, but that's the part that she was sad about.
Because she's a fan.
Should we start a GoFundMe for her? Does she need some help?
No, go fuck you.
Change.org, bitch. Change.org. We're not.
You're a fan and you just got her feelings hurt. That's all.
Okay. One more thing. What do y'all think about these Pentagon tapes of these UFOs? Is this distraction, or you think that we've been here with them and they chilling right now watching it?
Come get me.
Right. Show me your way of life.
For the birds. Today, and they were like, living next to the United States is like having the upstairs apartment over a meth lab. Like y'all dirty.
Yeah, y'all
in another administration, I take it more seriously. But like in this administration, like this nigga don't tell the truth about nothing. Like, so I mean, if anything, I'm inclined to believe UFOs don't exist if he says it. Like, so it's just to toss that shit up.
Show me some new shit with like HD, because that grainy video kind of shit, man. Let's let the cameras out of that, man. Come on now.
It's third party. So the thing is that it's been out for a while, and a third party released it because that's who captured it. And now the Pentagon is like, okay, damn it was real, like that. But there are plenty of tapes. There are plenty of other examples of something that we can't identify being here in our atmosphere. And pilots are notorious for pointing it out and being shunned, shut up, they out there. Whatever it is, I believe that it is, because just the other day, they said they were getting some radio waves from inside one of the galaxies coming out of one of the Milky Way. I think. I could be making that part up, but I'm not. I'm sure I'm not. But look it up for yourselves, y'all. Look it up for yourselves.
I welcome niggas, man. I swear, they can come on, man. Can't nothing be worse than this.
No, you said that before, Shaka. You said nothing could be worse. No, this is worse. Trump is worse. And
that's what I'm saying. And nothing could be worse. So come on, bring him on. Let's take over. Get rid of him and his people.
What are the Simpsons predictions saying about this? Are they really about to rip off some alien mask and show that it's Krang in them? What are your predictions? What are your predictions from? Let's project. All right, what you talking about?
2020 from November on. What's going to happen? Where we going as a nation?
Joe Biden is going to be president because they want him so bad to be.
Is Trump going to die?
They want him so bad to be. So
who's they? And how does
everybody
that day outweigh the other day? Because 2 days. It's more than 1 day.
Well, the they is the whole team is behind this man. Like everybody is behind it. Everybody who wasn't is now behind it. And you know what I think the strategy is around that is because they know that he can't win on himself. So he's probably going to be the only presidential candidate who runs on a whole ass cabinet. He's going to be like, this is who, like, he's going to bring his whole ass team. Watch. That's what's going to happen. And I think that's why everybody signed off on it, because everybody is getting in position, because that happened too quick. It's one thing because it happened to Obama, right? So nobody was feeling Obama at first. Like there was some, some excitement, but in terms of viability, that didn't happen right away. And then people started signing on, and then he gained momentum. I think that's what they're doing here, is because they're putting him up because they think that he is the face. He's a white man, right? So he's the face that's acceptable. But I think that they're going to be pushing for the work of his cabinet so that people can have more faith. That's what I think, because otherwise on his own he can't win by himself. I know that this got to be a part of it.
I think he was inorganically pushed, like Obama was pushed because he was populist. He had first of all, he had black people. He had a base of black people. That's one, which we probably know. Then he had like the liberal progressive rights. He had Hispanic, so he had people. He had a message that people were like a beverage. It wasn't revolution. It was change. He was like hope and change. That was the name of, Biden has been inorganically hoisted. Nothing about him is people. Nobody looks at Biden and says inspired. Nobody. No. Not even his wife. Like nobody looks at that motherfucker, but like, you know what? That nigga right there, he the one. So they pushed him. He's been forced on people. So I totally disagree.
He's been forcing himself on people. Oh no.
Then there's that. I think my fear is that the they that are pushing Biden are not going to be able to rally the troops enough to support him over the day, because it's a lot of them. It's a whole lot of them pushing Trump. It's more than we want to admit. That they know.
Yeah, the ones overtly pushing them and behind.
I think that I'm not sure that he was able to deliver in the way that he needed to for them, though.
You don't have to live for them. You don't have to live for them. They don't want nothing. They want red meat. They want racist. I mean, like there's a segment of him, like there's two segments of him. There's one that want to deliver on just the financial ends, and he did that. Like the tax cut, he gave them, but and then there's the ones that don't like. Look at Kentucky. They all like 97% below the poverty level. I mean, but they're going to keep voting for those power, because as long as they feel like you hurting niggas and Hispanics and everybody else more than them, that's all they want. They don't want nothing. They don't want healthcare. They don't want shit. That's not even. They know it. I mean, so you gotta go. You're up against that.
Here's why I push back though a little bit is because see where his misstep is around what's happened here. And so that's why he threw that little smoke bomb around states' rights, right? And threw that back to the states so that they could get that heat up off of him, and it could look like he's not making decisions about your experience now, right? And then we can get away from the fact that he delayed stuff, he didn't fund stuff. Now you at your governor's house fighting with your governor. And if we do that 50 times, that's 50 people not paying attention to him. So I do think that he failed in a way that impacts them. And as soon as they can tie, I think more people have tied it back to him than didn't. I still think you got those plants and those people who are going to be vocal and who are going to be like MAGA, MAGA, in the walk away consortium of like 8 people who keep telling us every damn week that they walking away from the Democratic Party. But I don't think that he can win on his own. Just to circle back to that, I think that they're going to have to present something bigger than just him in order to make him pop. And they haven't done it yet, so I don't know what it is. But I think that so many people are signing on behind him that I think they understand that it can't be him by himself. Like, they know that. And Trump, he's too egotistical. He's going to get up there and lie a whole bunch of times, in public, and they're going to agree, but I don't think everybody is going to agree now.
No, I agree, and just like he's gonna have to fight for the suburbs. He's losing the part of suburban America that typical Republicans have in a pocket. So he has fucked up on that end. But it's how much of rural America, because he got rural America on lock. How much of them, is it going to outweigh his losses? Because he's increasing. He's expanding the voter rolls in rural white America in the same way as Obama expanded the voter rolls in urban America. So you got to contend with that. He and Biden doesn't expand anything. Biden's going to give you the typical. No one's going to be like, no one's excited about Biden. He's not going to get any new voters. He gonna get the people that understand. He gonna typical Democrats, the blue, no matter who, and most of Bernie Sanders supporters. But it's gonna be a segment that's never gonna vote for him. But outside of that, he can't expand that shit. He's not gonna get. No one's gonna say, you know what, he inspires me. That dude right there, he's spitting. It said nobody about Biden, unless he's just dribbling. Then it's different.
Has your favorite ex-girlfriend Hillary Clinton thrown her support behind Biden? I think I saw that this week.
She did, and they helped exactly nobody. I mean, like nobody, who was waiting on her to endorse him? Like it's like, but that's his life. I mean, it probably hurt him more than it helped him.
Yeah, bro.
Is that so? Overall, what are your takeaways from this last 2 weeks, and how should we weaponize and actionize our efforts as the Soul Food Sunday family? Anthony, what you think?
Good question. I don't know. I guess we consider ourselves, small organization of like thinkers. I think our charge is to network. Network with other people that think like us, which is something I think we should do as a community. Just take all these islands and find some common some commonality and kind of pull resources, intellectual property, labor, whatever have you, because I think it's going to be needed in the coming years. Because like y'all just listen to you guys speak, on the political front, I think behind all that are real people and real individuals and real groups and real organized people that might not line up with whatever the result is at the end of the day, and be ready to pop off, be ready to, just change. And I think the environment we're living in right now is ripe for that. And nobody ain't been to work. The economy is shut down. What other opportunity might they have? Those who want to see the worst or just want to see some change happen. So I think for us, as a group of people, just to really connect and connect with other organized entities in our community and really just start to bring what we talk about to fruition, you know. And I think that's the best thing we could do. And I guess being in the DMV in our local area, you know what I mean, just start doing those things now, if that makes sense.
I think it does. I think it does.
Oh,
I support that. Shaka, Lisa, in closing.
Work inside and outside of the system.
Shaka.
I concur with the first two opiners. Just understand that we're in the midst of a paradigm shift. And you know, it's time to pivot. And it's probably never gonna see it's a new normal. It's gonna be more changes on the horizon, and just be prepared for it. You know.
Stay connected. Stay safe. I'm Stephanie on behalf of the Soul Food Sunday podcast family, starring Lisa, Anthony, and Shaka. We'll see you guys next Sunday at 4:30. Peace.
All right. Be safe.
Take care.